Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video, we are doing our top 10 figure of the year watch list. I do this every year, going around between, I give it about 6 months before I do this as well. I give it a few days into June, and I try to pick 10 figures that I think that might hit our top 10 watch list I do every year. Now these aren't now these I like to have fun with the first watch list. Now some of these probably will stay on the list because they're just great figures, but there's just so many figures that come out each year. Again, if you never watch any one of these type of videos, I like to say that these are my personal list. So once again, my list is gonna differ from you guys. That is very important, and I hope you guys understand that. A lot of people always, comment me in the comment section. How like, how you lead this off? How you lead this off? No, this is my personal list. These are the figures I bought with my own money, and these are the figures that I think that are some of the best that I picked up. Now that doesn't mean that a Black Series or a Marvel Legend, DC Multiverse figure shouldn't be on this list, because it is. But it's my opinion as well as what I have in front of me, to mess around with as well. Also, too, what I like to do is I like to pick up word of mouth. If I hear a figure and I watch like 5, 6 reviews on it, and everyone is loving that type of figure, it will definitely be on my top 10 list. But as once I said again, there are so many figures that come out each and every year that sometimes you just miss them. You just miss some badass figures, some well-made figures as well. So just want to throw that out there, so no one could will be pissed about it. But anyways, guys, before we even get started on that, I just wanted to go over the rules, as well as I just want to say if you guys can leave a like on this video as well as subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss another video just like this one as well. So now let's get straight on into it. Also, real quick, I forgot to mention as well. Now how I break down the criteria of these figures as well. Normally around the watch list, I like to, like I said, I like to have fun with these lists as well. So I should mention reissues, right? Because there is two figures that are on this list are reissues. I know that it's kind of like cheating and putting them on the list, because these figures came out before, and some of them don't really have too much difference from the original one. But on the main list at the end of the year, the big list, the big gigantic list, towards the end of the year, I like to call it the official list of my list, I should say. Those figures most likely won't be on this list unless there's a huge major difference from the original ones, and from the original, I mean the newer ones. So they're probably gonna be on this list right now, but like I said, once the official list comes out, probably like in later on in December, those figures will not be on this list because they're reissues. Now, it's kind of like video games as well. A lot of people like to think about it like, who does, like, for instance, let's say Final Fantasy VII remake. Does that deserve to be on a Game of the Year list? Yes, it's badass now, but does it deserve to win Game of the Year? Probably not, because the game has already been out before. But there's a huge, vast difference between that, and there's so much to break down between that, and we're just not gonna do that. So, anyways, let's go on to our top 10. Now I try. You guys know, McFarlane on this channel is heavily um uh on this channel, so I don't, I did my best not to just pick McFarlane figures, but they do manage to get on this list a lot, as well as Marvel Legends is another one as well. And listen, they're gonna keep making dope figures, they're gonna be on the list. So speaking of McFarlane, let's go ahead and put our number 10 in here. Now, I have reviews on most of these figures already. So if you want to see the whole full breakdown and the unboxing of when I first unboxed them, they're going to be, I mean, I'll put them down in the description down below as well. But um, they also will be on my Instagram if you want to see more pictures of them. If you don't have my Instagram, it's down in the description down below as well. So there's that. But anyways, so I'm not gonna do a full breakdown into all these figures, but because I already done it before. But I'm gonna go on my number 10. My number 10 has to be Clayface. Now this figure is absolutely freaking amazing. It's one that many people has been asking for years. Now, whether we're gonna get it or not was completely different. The reason why he is so high on my list is because the hands aren't really that articulated as well. He's not really that much of an articulated figure himself, so that's why he's kind of low on the list. But as far as detail goes, he is absolutely freaking amazing. I mean, come on, look at the head. The mouth is articulated as well. And then down from the details all around the whole body, got like scars coming out of him as well. And it just looks like clay. Just looks like clay, man. Absolutely crazy. Got little horns coming out of him as well. Just an absolutely badass figure, and the absolutely craziness on the face as well as the mouth. I think he deserves to be up there on anyone's top 10 list, and I think he will be on some people's top 10 list. So I'm pretty sure people will agree with me on that. But that was Clayface. Okay, guys. So my number 9 has to be from Marvel Legends themselves. It has to be the Retro Cap, looking absolutely badass himself. This is from the Toy Biz era. This is a newer version of him. So they went back and redid these figures, and it just looks absolutely amazing. So this is what I meant. Like, we're gonna have some figures that are probably were made before in other years, but we get newer versions of them, and sometimes even just uh, different paints, or just bring them on to life with new articulation is enough to put on this list. Now, when he make the official list, he is a little different because he's not technically a reissue. I mean, he is. I mean, there's newer things to this figure from the old Toy Biz era. Um, but yeah, definitely so badass. I highly recommend picking them up if you guys haven't picked them up. But that was my number 9. Now let's go on to my number 8, which is one that I absolutely liked when I unboxed him. He just looks so crazy, and that is the Mezco Two Face. He just looks so badass. Absolutely love him. Love the colors, the orange and the purples. He's not the most articulated figure. I should say this is basically the two pack, the classic Batman, as well as this one as well. So this one gives the classic look. The only thing that he's really missing is a gun. That's all he's missing. Other than that, he has the hands with the coins as well. He has the crazy looking face that I absolutely love. I love the pictures I posted on my Instagram, so I highly recommend going and checking this bad boy out down on my Instagram if you guys haven't seen him before. But yeah, absolutely dope. And that was my number 8. Okay, guys, so my number 7 has to be from McFarlane Toys, Endeavor. So Endeavor looks so freaking good, especially for a figure that's only $20. Might be cheaper now. I mean, this figure's been out for a while. The reason why he is basically number 7 and not any lower, well, it's a few things. Well, first of all, this is when McFarlane was doing the gun hands as well, which is absolutely freaking annoying, because why does Endeavor need a gun hand as well as the plastic on the shoulder pads? They're kind of too freaking bulky. I understand why, because of the flames and going over it, but it looks like the shoulder pads are basically lit on fire instead of him actually looking like he's on fire. I know that's pretty hard to replicate um with any action figure as well. But they kind of did it with the boots. I mean, the boots look like he actually like he's actually on fire, as well as like the face. So why couldn't the shoulders basically? I know it's hard to even say that because in the anime he does have shoulder pads, but I know it's hard to replicate that. But I still got to deduct points for that as well as the cloth, the clothing is kind of like newerish, and it doesn't give it that perfect anime feeling, and as well as not that accurate to the whole suit itself, but it does its job. So I absolutely like this figure. Besides the trigger fingers, and the shoulder pads, it's like whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. But other than that, he's just an absolutely badass figure, and he is a figure that's gonna stand out in any My Hero Academia display. He just looks absolutely crazy. I absolutely love it. I love the head sculpt as well. It just looks like Endeavor, and that's all I ask for when it comes down to these type of figures. But that is my number 7. Now let's go on to my number 6, which kind of debating on whether he should be higher on my list or just perfect where he's at right now. And the only reason why I decided to put him in number 6 and not in the top 5, and that is because he's a reissue. And it's one that when they announced, and I was like, oh my god, I need to get this so bad. And that is Reptile. So, of course, he doesn't come with this brain. It's just one that I took from a McFarlane Baraka figure and slapped it onto the tongue, which adds it just another dope looking piece to it as well out of Reptile. And this Reptile looks absolutely amazing. I love the Reptile head as well. It just looks like Reptile. He's just so freaking crazy as well. And it's just a Reptile on the normal body that we're accustomed to when it comes down to the ninjas. So it's not really too much when it comes down to that. But he is really well articulated as well as the mouth fills out. But yeah, he is very articulated as well. I mean, you could pretty much get him in any pose, and he's gonna freaking do it. And that's my favorite thing about Storm Collectibles is their Mortal Kombat figures. They just are absolutely badass. They're unique as well, and they look like the characters, and that is all that matters to me. I'm gonna buy them all the freaking time. But yeah, that is Reptile, and that's why I put them at number 6. So now let's get on to my personal top 5 watch list. So let's go ahead and get to it. Hey guys, so here is another figure that that I thought should be in the top 5 or he should be lower. It took a long time debating with myself, obviously. I try to get other input, but there's not really too much I know. And not too many people want to bother right now with the list right now. But um, so I asked myself, I was like, should he be higher on this list? And I thought to myself, not exactly. There's a lot still wrong with this figure, but it was just the uniqueness and how this figure looks. I was like, bro, it's a robotic gorilla. Like that's absolutely insane. Of course, this is from the Spawn Universe wave. This is Cyborg. He is absolutely freaking amazing. Now you probably wondering to yourself, how can this figure that looks like this absolutely freaking crazy was a gorilla that has scars on himself? That's literally a robotic gorilla. Why would he be any lower? And the reason why is articulation. Articulation is really not the best when it comes down to this figure. As well, the hands don't open up. The arms can stretch out, but they are really, really hard to stretch them out as well. He's a gorilla. He's supposed to pound his chest. He can't even do that. He can't bend his arms in as well. And he is very hard to stand up. You're gonna have to lean him up against a wall or something to get him to stand up on his own. And my one of my reviews, I tried standing him up by himself. He is probably hard. I mean, he is made to stand up on himself, but it's still hard because of the weight on top from the arms, the robotic arms. It's basically pulling this figure down. So there's that. But anyways, just the robotic arms is enough to put him in the top five. Just absolutely crazy, and as well as that head. I mean, come on, look at this. It's absolutely freaking insane. If you want a whole bunch of cyborg gorillas. You could army build these guys, and they would look absolutely crazy, and they'll definitely stand out in your collection as well, which I would be 100% down for. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But I mean, that would just take up too much space as well. My favorite things about him is basically all the scars that goes around his whole entire body, as well, even down to the head, which is absolutely freaking crazy as well. He just looks like he's just a gorilla that was brought back from the dead, and just absolutely crazy. I absolutely like this figure as well. But yeah, that was my number five. So now let's go on to my number four. Okay, guys. So my number four has to be Retro Hawk from Marvel Legends team again. And I'm telling you guys, this whole wave, and it's crazy because I wanted to add the Iron Man. I wanted to add who else is in this wave? I already forgot who's in this wave. Whenever that Toad comes out, it's definitely going to be in here as well. But I wanted to add the whole wave, but then I was like, nah, that's a little too greedy. But this figure is absolutely freaking amazing. It's actually one of my favorite Hawks in my whole collection is the Gladiator Hawk from Mezco. This one, I feels like it almost tops it. I mean, it come on, it's a Gladiator Hawk. How can it how can it not? I mean, this one is definitely up there. I would say if I was to choose any of them in my collection, these two are just absolutely freaking a badass. And that's not to take away from like Diamond Select or from the other Hawk figures out there. I just love this retro Hawk. He just looks like Hawk. This is how I picture Hawk. He just has the classic head, the classic purple pants that just ripped open as well. He can stand up on his own, and he is just big. He's massive. The muscles are showing. This is how I picture Hawk when I see Hawk. Especially from the comics as well as in a video game or movies. This is the type of Hawk I would like to see on screen as well. He just looks absolutely insane. Of course, I should say most of these figures come with their accessories, but like I said, accessories do play a big part in some of these on these lists as well. It's probably why the Mesco Two Face made the list as well. So I wanted to throw that out there, but obviously I'm not showing them because you could just go back and watch the unboxings to see all the accessories. If any one of these figures that you don't have catches your eye, well, you can go back watch the unboxing and be like, oh, make this is why I do the list because I want to make sure that maybe you missed the figure and you should go pick it up. But anyways, guys, that was my number four. Let's get on to my top three watch list figures that you should watch out for this year. Okay, my top three, and I did my best not to be biased here at all, but my top three figures this year or so far has been WWE Mattel's Ultimate Undertaker. He just looks absolutely freaking amazing. I love that it comes with the class. This is the classic Undertaker that I grew up on from the Ministry of Darkness. I believe that's what they were called. But the Brothers of Destruction as well. I actually, it's funny on my list I put Kane and Undertaker, but I didn't want to cheat as well because I like both of them, as you guys know. Huge Kane fan. If you guys haven't noticed already, I grew up while loving Kane. He is the most probably the one of the most iconic characters, but the more iconic character than anyone in WWE, and we could argue this with anyone, is the Undertaker. He just absolutely amazing. Comes with this classic jacket as well. You could take this off and just have his classic um, gear set up. He just looked absolutely amazing. Comes with multiple heads as well, but this one head was my favorite because it's the one that he gets on his knee and then does this roll back eyes and sticks out his tongue. It was his classic signature sting when he would come into the ring, or to end the match as well. When he won a match, he just looks absolutely amazing. Comes with the big choke slam hand as well. Comes with kind of, it's an open fist really, but you could use it as a closed fist as well. And the whole design, just even like the soft goods jacket. This jacket could be a little bit better, but it does its job when it comes to that. I like it, you know. So there's that. But anyways, that is my number three. Let me know in the comment section. Are you agreeing with my list so far? I definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts with my top two figures so far, as well as I'd like to hear your guys' top 10. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Anyways, guys, that was my number three. Let's get on to my top two figures for this year so far. Okay, guys. So my number two is one that most people probably should have saw coming. It's actually one of my most newer popular videos on the channel. It's one that's probably brought a lot of you guys who are currently watching onto my channel, and that is the Mayfex Batman reissue. This is the kind of like the grayish, light bluish color of it. I know there's the gray and black one that I missed out on. I should add. Anyways, and that was technically my fault because I took forever. And I used to have a habit of doing. Now I don't play around. Now if I really want it, I just freaking get it. But I used to just mess around, try to get things last minute if I'm on the fence or something, or I just don't want to spend the money. And so sometimes, unfortunately, I miss out, like that goddamn Persona Mayfex figures. But let me not even get into that. But anyways, guys, he is absolutely freaking amazing. He just looks like Batman. I remember in the review, I was like, yeah, this Batman absolutely does it. One of the biggest questions is the cape. Is first of all, the how would the cape hold up? And the cape is still holding up to this day. In that, um, this unboxing was probably around January, February-ish, I believe. I don't recall, but this figure is absolutely amazing. I use this figure. If you guys notice, I use this figure in a lot of my unboxings just because I just love this classic Batman look. Or not unboxings, but photos, as I say. When I have somebody beating up Batman, I like to use this figure because he looks like Batman. He just has this crazy look, as well as he has the accessories to go with it. So if I want to have a classic Bruce Wayne head, and there's so many Batmans I could choose from that I have in my collection, but I still go with this one. Even like say his love interest, like one of my favorite photos I have is him holding Catwoman, the classic DC Direct Catwoman. I use this figure for the Bruce Wayne, and it just goes together. It just looks so freaking good as well. So there's that. But anyways, I love the colors. The articulation is absolutely freaking amazing on this guy. And like I said this before, if you have a chance, if you first of all, if you find them still, I mean, come on, look at this. If you find them still, and you're on the fence about them, I highly suggest picking this up. Yeah, the legs are a little bit thinnish as well, but trust me, it makes up for it as well. When the articulation, he's just gonna stand out. He just looks so freaking badass. But that is my number two. Now you're probably wondering, like, you like that figure so much, what the hell will be your number one? And it's probably a curveball that a lot of people are probably not gonna see. I like throwing these curveballs at you guys. A lot of people are probably like, man, this guy's list is sometimes pretty crazy. But anyways, my number one figure so far for this year is my number one figure so far for this year is the Marvel Legends Jigsaw. Now you guys are probably crazy, like, whoa, you're a DC guy and you literally got what? Let me see, one, two, three, four. You literally got four Marvel Legends on your top 10. Like, that's absolutely insane. Yes, I was debating about whether to put more on this list, but I feel like Hasbro is absolutely killing it with the Marvel Legends, and the Marvel Legends team is absolutely freaking killing it. And this guy right here is why I love Punisher right here. I just love all Punisher. Now this one's probably a little bit biased here. You guys know Punisher is one of my favorite Marvel heroes, superheroes, or just Marvel characters of all time. I actually put Punisher above Thor, and that says a lot because Thor is actually one of my favorite Marvel's characters of all time. But I absolutely love this figure because he's a bad guy that goes up against Punisher. But not only that, he just stands out, just absolutely crazy. Love the suit that goes with it, but the most best thing that comes about it is he comes with the sawed-off shotgun. He comes them with the machetes. He comes with different accessories. He got the one that has the gun smoke coming out of the shotgun as well. But my favorite part of this figure is that crazy looking head. I mean, Jesus Christ. This guy is absolutely freaking amazing. And in the review, you guys know that I just went absolutely crazy. Kept talking about how crazy the head looks, the suit as well. And for a guy that's wearing a suit, he is very well articulated. Probably not the best articulated figure. Definitely goes down to Mayfix, but that's a different genre. You guys know that. That is two different classes of their own. But for a 20 what $7 figure, this is not bad as well. And it's one that like I said, I absolutely love as well, man. I was waiting for a long time. I wish they do more Punisher villains as well, because I need them all and I would definitely buy all of them. But this is my top 10 list. Now, let me know in the comment section down below. Like I said, my list is probably way different from yours. I probably have at least one of my figures on your list, or I probably don't even have no. But I like to none of them. I like to hear your guys' list down in the comment section down below. And what you guys think of my list? Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Is there any figures that you probably would not put on this list, or there's any figures that you probably like? Yeah, definitely needs to be on that list as well. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts, as well as just share your thoughts down below. Maybe I'm missing on a figure that you're like, you know what, main man, you need to pick this figure up. The main man needs to pick this figure up, and you absolutely need this figure before the year ends, because you need to review this figure. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts down below, because your thoughts matter more than I do. I'd like to hear your guys' inputs as well. So there's that. But a lot of it, I should say, be respectful about it as well. That's a huge part on these lists as well. These lists are supposed to be for fun and not to piss people off. That's really huge when it comes down to this. But anyways, guys, that was my top 10 watch list figures so far. But anyways, guys, that is pretty much it. Stay tuned for the next unboxing, because we got tons coming soon. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that as well. But you guys have a wonderful, amazing day, and see you guys later. Thanks for all the support, guys.